This has happened very quickly and at quite late notice, but I'm absolutely proud and delighted as a member of Stand Up to Racism to stand here today and see so many people from Worthing turning out at short notice during the middle of the day to show solidarity with our sisters and brothers from our Muslim community here in Worthing. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and I thank you all for turning out today. I also bring greetings from the trade union Unison. I'm the chair of Unison at Edinburgh Worthing Councils, and our members very much support all the efforts to fight racism and support the Muslim community. Our motto is an injury to one is an injury to all, and we think that very much applies at the moment. Every one of us was so moved by the horrific events of last Friday, but also moved by the response to it across the world. Because in every city and town across the world, particularly in New Zealand and Australia, but also in this country, tens and hundreds of thousands of people have turned out in solidarity with the Muslim community in a wave of revulsion at what that man did in a mosque in New Zealand, 2 mosques in New Zealand last Friday. And we have a real problem, and other speakers have mentioned it, with Islamophobia in this country and others, and that's something that we need to tackle going forward. We absolutely want to show solidarity, but we also want to ensure that the context in which that man carried out the vile acts he did last week is addressed. And that means looking at the messages that go in our media, looking at the messages that come out from our politicians day in, day out about Muslims in particular, but about immigrants and foreign people in general. This all has to be looked at and all has to be challenged. And I'll give you an example. The Herald and local newspaper very kindly publicised today's event, and there were lots of really heartening messages from the people of Worthing on that thread on Facebook. But there was also some very worrying messages, some that you would expect of people who were questioning why we were having a vigil for this and not for lots of other things that had happened, but others more sinister, including one chap who said, "Has anyone got a white van they can lend me?" in a clear reference to the terror attack on Finsbury Park Mosque. The reason I say that, because I don't think that person represents very much actually, I think he's in a tiny minority, but the reason I say that is because that person, who is a man from Worthing, felt he had the confidence to be able to say that in a public forum. That's the problem we're facing, friends. But actually I think events like today, the march that some of us were on in London last Saturday of 15,000 people for Stand Up to Racism in London, really show the potential to resist Islamophobia and all forms of racism and to live together as citizens equally and in peace. So thanks again for today. I understand that there are plans to hold a public vigil also in the town on an early evening next week that Stand Up to Racism is going to call together with the imam here at the mosque, and we'd very much like to see you there, and hopefully we can have an even bigger turnout and show that support once again, and let's keep working together. Thanks very much.